Okay, so for those of you that have been cursing me and calling me all sorts of names just because I left a loving boyfriend, calm down. Do calm down, guys. Um, as much as I was so much in love, I'm also a very ambitious person and I want to achieve more. I'm not sure whether I actually added that we grew up very poor. So I did want to have a better life for myself and for my children that were not there yet, but my children to come, and for my family in general, for my parents, and for all of my other siblings. So if an opportunity came for me to go and work in South Africa, I was never going to leave that opportunity. So my sister was already working in Johannesburg. So I went, registered myself with the South African Nursing Council, and I got a job and I left him and I went. He was in tears, but then because we were so much in love, the few days before I left, we arranged the traditional marriage. I paid the dowry. I paid Inkangazi, where we call it Inkangazi, which is the two families knowing each other. So he paid all that. So by the time I left, he promised me that he's going to join me. And then we're going to live as husband and wife. We didn't have a white wedding then because we couldn't afford it. We didn't have money to plan a white wedding, but we did the traditional one. So anyway, as promised, 3 months later, he joined me in South Africa. And the romance continued. Now we were actually living together in our own place, so there was no traveling up and down. We were living together as husband and wife. We were married, and yeah, it continued. The love story just continued. So I'm just gonna pause for a bit, guys, and then touch on certain questions that I think about them all the time, and I'm wondering if you guys think about them too. So I would really appreciate it if on the comments just answer those questions. You can go incognito if you want, if you don't want people to know. If I'm not embarrassed, I'm not embarrassed to share or to ask these questions, because guys, these are daily questions that affect people in their daily living. It's just that the way we were brought up, in a conservative way, so that we think some questions are taboo, some words are taboo, and some acts are taboo. But anyway, as long as the way I see things, as long as I am married, I'm in a legal relationship with my partner, I can do anything I want. I can experiment as much as I want. I can try anything that I want because it's my husband. I can go as crazy as I want with my husband. Okay, so I hope everybody thinks like that, because when you get married, you are given that ticket to do whatever you want, to experiment whatever you want. That's what marriage is about, guys. You try it with your husband, you try it with your wife. You don't go try it outside there and form other relationships and all that. Whatever you want to try, whatever those crazy thoughts come, do those crazy thoughts with your partner. Okay, so the first question is, do you or would you have sex with your pregnant wife? At what point do you think you've got to stop having sex with your pregnant wife? As soon as you discover that she's pregnant, in the middle trimester, or just before she's gonna go and deliver at the end, at the last stages of her pregnancy? I'm gonna share my opinion, and I'm gonna share what I did. I've got 3 children. On the next videos, I will talk about the children because it's a journey. I will tell you how we coped with the children. But I've got 3 children, and I've always been crazy. So with each of my children, I've never stopped having sex. I've had sex From the time I discovered that I was pregnant, as long as whenever I feel I want to have it, I will have it. Whenever the age comes that I need it, I will have it. Whenever my husband's age comes and he says, Jao, can we? We will have it. If I'm not in the mood to do it, I'll say, look, I'm not in the mood to do it, but if you want to do it, get me into the mood, then I'm good. And I'm just going to lie there like a dead person. I'm going to just lie there like a log. Guys, I'm not in the mood, so please give me space. But he would try everything, you do everything, you kiss, you touch me until I'm in the mood, and then it happens. So yeah, there you go. So for me, even last trimester, even when I'm having those Braxton Hicks, those early labor contractions, I never stopped. And in fact, every time we used to have intercourse in the morning, I'll feel like I'm going into labor. I don't know whether it was the hormonal changes, but that never stopped me. It will scare me, and I think, oh my gosh, this will make me get into labor before my time. But that could never stop me. I think I was just so highly sexed. I don't know. So that is my answer. I never stopped, and even if I were to turn the clock and do it all over again, I'm never gonna stop. Okay, and then the second question is, would you have sexual intercourse during your menstrual period? Again, I want to hear from you guys. You can just answer, I would have with my period, or I wouldn't. It's okay. Everybody's got a choice in life. People see things differently, and everyone has got their own opinion. I'm just sharing my own opinion. For me, it never stopped me. The only thing that's gonna give me more work is just washing the sheets that have been stained by blood. But then, because I would be lazy to do it like that, I would have it in the shower. So we would have it in the shower, and then it's all get washed away during the shower, and that's it. You're done, guys. When the edge comes, sometimes you just can't stop that edge. And besides, you're married. That means free sex, and whenever you want to do it, that's what marriage is, really, isn't it? As well as everybody else. I mean, as well as everything else. But hey, sex is the main thing. And then the next question is, who initiates sex in a relationship? Is it the husband always? Can the wife initiate it? Or can both partners initiate it? I know the way some of us have been brought up, we are brought up told that the husband is the one that's got to initiate. And in most cases, when you go into sleep, you go to the bedroom, you even have to do the sex in the dark. You have to turn the lights. You can't even undress in front of your husband, and yet you're gonna sleep with him, right? And all those things. So anyway, for me, my short answer is, whoever has got the edge. If he's got the edge to do it, he's gonna start. If you have got the edge, come on, you can start. It's not written down that only the husband is got to do it, as if it's only the husband that's got the edge, as if it's only the husband that always wants sex. As women, we enjoy sex too, don't we? Okay, if we don't, we're gonna discuss about it in my next question. But really, guys, ladies, you can initiate as well. It's not just for the men. It's not just for us to always act like we've got a headache or we've got a tummy ache. And then sometimes even when we want to do it, we just pretend, no. You pretend you don't want it when you actually enjoy it. So anybody can initiate these things. And then the next question is, this is mainly for the women. Do you always have orgasm during intercourse? Do you always have an orgasm? I know men, when they haven't had it, they will make sure they get to a point where they've reached it. But I know there's cases where the man has been satisfied, and then he turns over and he goes to sleep and leaves the woman like that. And for us as women, because we were taught to respect, to be Subservient, I'm not sure that's the right word, but anyway, we're taught to respect. So if your husband is done, that's it. You haven't reached that point. Just go to sleep. You are never taught to challenge them or to ask them that, come on, honey, get me there as well. So for the men, it's reached their point of happiness, the orgasm. What about the woman? Okay, the woman hasn't. Let's say the woman hasn't. As a woman, what are you supposed to do? And as a man, what can you do to help your wife so she just enjoys sex as much as you've enjoyed it? So what things can you do as a man to make sure you satisfy your woman? I know this is a very sensitive subject. People would get embarrassed, but guys, let's talk about it. So, you've been pleased. Always make sure that you please her as well. Don't leave her wanting. There's lots of other stuff that you can do. You can use your finger, you can stimulate her with your finger, or if you know that it's easy for you to come, you come quicker, then make sure that she gets her orgasm first before you do. So you can use your finger, you can use your tongue. Remember, I said I'm not a sex therapist or I'm not a sex pervert and all that. But I'm just sharing. And in this day and age now, there is all those sex gadgets that you can buy from Ann Summers. People always shy away from those things. But guys, like I'm saying, it's a relationship. You're in a relationship, you're in a marriage. Anything that you're doing in that marriage is between the two of you. You are there to please each other. If you have to get some gadgets, you have to get some toys. You got to do it so that everybody is happy in the marriage. It's not a marriage. Is like, guys, it's like having a meal. How would you feel? You get served a plate of food. You are sharing the plate of food, and then the other person eats all the food, and then the other person is left hungry. Are they supposed to just get up and be happy and go and sleep? No. If the food was not enough and you ate it all, then make them another plate. Make sure they also get filled. Okay, so that was that question. So it will be interesting to know how you guys in your relationships, in your marriages, how you satisfy each other sexually. What do you get to? What do you use? So we'll get to that. So anyway, I finished that. Let's quickly talk about another sensitive topic. Positions. You wouldn't think, I don't know when I actually started to be so open about these things, but I think it's because our marriage was just quite open. I could just experiment. Manuel could just experiment. We could both just experiment with everything. You go and watch a movie or you read a book. Well, I was an avid reader, by the way. I never told you that when I was in primary school, up to high school actually, I was into romantic novels, Mills and Boon. I don't know if there's anyone that used to read Mills and Boons. So I used to love the Mills and Boons, those romantic novels, to such a point that my family thought, my siblings actually, they thought I was going to fail my GCSEs O level in Zimbabwe. They thought I was going to fail my O level because all I used to do was read Mills and Boon, those romantic novels. But be known to them that I'll read my Mills and Boon till about 1 a.m. And then when you finish it at 1 a.m., you are so fired up. Come on, because it's at the end when the prince and the princess, they now fall in love and they live happily ever after. And at that point, guys, you are not tired. You are so wide awake. And then I'll get my books and I'll start to revise and I'll start to study. I did so well. I've got all my 7 GCSEs, all my 7 O-level subjects. So yeah, and it's I'm sure it's from those novels that in my mind I started to have all those thoughts of what my ideal husband is going to be and how I'm going to conduct my relationships and how I'm going to make love, because I was reading about it every day. So in a way, you could say I was training myself to be a sex expert. And it did pay off in the end. Come on, guys, it did pay off. So anyway, let's go back to positions. So we know that is the known one is just the missionary style. The woman down, the man up. You do this, you do the act, and you're done. But can we share other positions that we use? I would really love it if the sex experts, the sex therapist could really comment on our YouTube video and share, so that we can try and help people. We can try and help people that think the missionary position is the be end and end it all. Then we can share other positions that you can do it on the side. You can do it dog style. You can do it whatever conditions. Whatever positions. I mean, those that are interested, just go on Google, guys. Google different sex positions, and don't always think it's always going to be one position. And in one sex act, you can try lots of different positions. Don't always think sex is kiss, sex done. No, do the romance, do the touching, do the kissing, prolong it and enjoy it. It's there to be enjoyed. So I know we have sidetracked, but I knew I was always gonna sidetrack when I started talking about sex, and then it's like it's just like coming out of my head. But all the stuff that I was sharing, I would be doing them with my husband. I'm a Christian, guys, by the way. I'm sure all of you are looking at me and thinking, oh my gosh, that sinner, the biggest sinner of all. No, I am a Christian and I still live by Christian values. That's why every time you hear me mentioning that, do it with your husband, because when you're doing it with your husband, it's not sinful. You've been joined in matrimony in the presence of God. Or those that are not in the presence of God, you are still joined. You're not committing adultery. So yeah, we used to do all those. My husband was also very experimental. He would get all the books. He used to research a lot. Some of these things I wouldn't know, and I'll be learning from him. And then we'll be watching a movie, and then after that, we try and copy some of the stuff that we've seen on the movie. And all the other sex acts. We'll see what other people do on TV, on the movies, and we will try and do it ourselves. So we were in South Africa now, and then we had our first child. Our first child was born in 2007, and our second child was born in, oh my gosh, my kid is gonna kill me. My first child was born in 1997, and my second child was born in 2001. And between that period, we did have enough money to finally have our white wedding. We had our white wedding at the trade fair grounds in Bulawayo. We booked like the whole stand, because you know what African marriages are like, Zimbabwean marriages are like. You invite the whole community, the friends of the friends. So we booked the whole stand at the trade fair grounds, and the wedding was beautiful. I will post the pictures on this video. I will attach the pictures on this video so that you can see our beautiful wedding. Our daughter, the first one, who was born in 1997, was one of the little bridesmaids. I was pregnant with my second one when I got wed. And remember, guys, I've been sinning. I told you that I'm a Christian just, and you know for a fact that I've been having sex way before I was legally married. I know I was married. I was even having sex before I was married traditionally. So guys, I'm not gonna stand here and pretend that no sex before marriage. It's supposed to be like that. I wish we can all do that, but I personally, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. So by the time I got wed in 2000, my daughter was about 3 years old, and I was pregnant with my second daughter. And because I had to be married in church, because I'm a Christian, I'm a believer, I had to go and stand in front of the whole congregation and ask for forgiveness for my sins. One, for having a child before I was married, which is my first daughter. And two, for being pregnant before I was actually married. So yeah, I stood in front of that church and I felt like the biggest sinner of all times. I'm sorry, I felt like that. But yeah, it is what it is. As much as we want to try and be a good people in front of God, sometimes our bodies do betray us, and my body did betray me. I'm just so thankful and so grateful that my body betrayed me with one person who was my husband, and I didn't sleep around. I don't think I would have been able to sleep around anyway because of the way I was brought up. I was only ever going to give myself to one man. Even when I was, even after my husband died, I said, but God, why did my husband die? I told you that I only ever want to give myself to one man, because now then I'm forced to go and find another one. Because remember, I said I'm a sex man, but I can only sleep with somebody that I'm married to. I don't sleep around. I don't do stuff like that. Those are my principles. So yes, then we got married in 2000, and as soon as we got married, that was at the end of 2000. I started to have itchy feet again. Remember, I got itchy feet when I was in Zimbabwe and I left my husband and went to South Africa. So I started to have those itchy feet again. We had lived and worked in South Africa for 6 years now, and I felt, and we both felt, that we were not progressing financially as fast as we wanted to progress. Or maybe it was just me. Anyway, I said, Manuel, we need to go we need to go abroad. We didn't know which country we wanted to go to. So we did our applications and we were given two choices. We're accepted in the United Kingdom and we're accepted in New Zealand. So now we had to choose between New Zealand and the United Kingdom. But because no one had ever said anything about New Zealand, we didn't know anything about the country. We didn't know anybody who has gone to work there, but we knew about people that had gone to the UK and that had worked in the United Kingdom. So we accepted the one in the United Kingdom. So we came on a work permit for Spire Hospitals. So my husband came first because I had two young kids. My youngest was just 3 months. Yeah, she was just 3 months old. And then my husband left first to go and work and find accommodation. So he worked for 2 or 3 months, and then he arranged for me and the kids to join him. So that was in 2001 in December, because I know we spent that Christmas together. So yeah, we spent the Christmas together now as a family in England. And then by February, the next year in 2002, I started to work. I started work in a care home. But yes, so I think for this video, we're gonna end it now in 2002, when I was working in a care home with two of our girls, and my husband was working in a private hospital, and we were renting at that time. We're trying to work as hard as we could so that we can get our own accommodation, our own house, apply for a mortgage. But yes, so for today, we're going to end here. And on the next video, we're going to take on from, I'm going to skip some years where there's just boring stuff of husband and wife living together, the fights. I know there was a time when we were fighting, and he slapped me. Oh my gosh, my husband had never ever hit me. But you know, us as women, sometimes we are so crazy, we are so mental. I reflect back now, and I know that I must have driven him to the edge, because he would have never ever done it. But then, because I'm just that raw person, I said, what? You hit me, I'm gonna call the police. And I was rushing to my phone to call the police to get him arrested. Oh my God. He was begging me and all that. Anyway, I never called the police, and he never hit me again. And we did have lots of arguments. As married couples, you do have arguments, and the way you resolve them is in lots of different issues. But I know for a fact that every time we would have arguments, and I will tell my parents, I will tell my mom and my sisters, they will always say, "No, Jabu, you are the crazy one. Manuel is a good guy, so just sort yourself out." So in the end, I knew that, you know what, no one is going to help me when I tell them stories about my relationship. So I got to a point where whenever we fight, I try and resolve things together, just us together. We try and talk it out together, because I realized that, you know what, I try and tell my mom, she's not going to be on my side. I try and tell my sisters, they're not going to be on my side. But what I realized in the end was that they were helping me. Guys, a relationship and a marriage is just for two people. Never try and get other people into your relationship. You two people just need to try and understand each other and try and work stuff out. Because if you start to get other people that are going to tell you the wrong stuff, that are going to influence you in a bad way, it's going to damage your relationship. So I got to a point where I would just know that, okay, we've had a fight. I'm going to just, either when I'm upset, I'll just be upset until I'm calm, or until I'm happy again, and then I go and sit down with my husband, and then we talk about it. And there was a time when he really, really made me feel pain. I really started to doubt that he loves me. And then I went and I asked him, I said, you know, Manuel, every time you cause me so much pain, why do you do it? You really want me to feel all this pain? And then he looked me straight in the eye and he says, Jabu, you know, I'm sorry that I caused you all this pain, but I never ever want to cause you any pain. I love you. And that was the last time. That's the last time we fought, because then I would always remember that even if he's done something wrong, he's done something to cause me pain, he loves me and he doesn't mean it. So I would really advise each and every person in their marriages that when you fought, just ask your partner whether are they causing you this pain deliberately, and you'll be surprised that most of the time the man doesn't really want to cause you pain. I know there are some men that are nasty and want to do it, but most of them that are really deeply invested in you and they want the relationship to work, they make mistakes just as any human being would make a mistake, but they really don't mean to cause you pain. So I know for those that are not in good relationship, they'll be thinking, oh no, she's crazy, you don't know my husband. Yeah, I know, I don't know your husband, and maybe your husband it doesn't mean well for you. But yeah, in my case, that's what it was. And I could believe it because I knew this guy was so invested in our relationship. He was so invested in the kids, and he almost all the time I could just I know the time that he would want to please me and he want to help me. He helps me in the house with the chores, with everything. So when he said that, he's looking me straight in the eye, I knew that yeah, I can take his word for it. I could believe him. So also, guys, ladies, look your guy in the eye. You know what your husband is like. And husbands, please, there is another thing, that you are married to your woman and you know how beautiful she is, and you know how attracted you are to her, and yet you never ever once say, you are so beautiful, wow, you turn me on, I can't resist you. And you know you can't resist it, but you think if you tell her that she's beautiful, she's gonna be so big-headed, and then she's gonna go sleeping around with other guys or leave you for other people because now you've told her that she's beautiful. No, she's here because she wants to be with you. So do tell her that she's beautiful. Do tell her that you can't resist it. Do tell her that you love her. Do tell her that when she takes off her clothes, you just want to jump onto her. As women, we want to hear these things. And in my case, because my husband used to tell me that all the time. Remember, I married, I got together with him. I started dating him when I was about 23. And he groomed me up. he was the love of my life. He told me he loved me, he admired me, and he like worshipped me. I worshipped him as well, but he worshipped me as well. But it built my confidence where my body was concerned. I knew that all I had to do was take off my clothes, and then my husband wouldn't take his eyes off me. And I used to know that, oh gosh, I'm so beautiful, because he'll be telling me all the time. So even when later on I wasn't with him after he died, and I'm in other relationships, and those men never ever tell me that I'm beautiful, that did not affect me in any adverse way, because my confidence was already built up to the limit, up to the top. My cup was full. My cup was so full because my husband had made me feel so confident in myself, in my features, in my beauty, in who I am. So honestly, guys, I beg you, I beg you, tell your wives that they are beautiful. Tell them that you love them. Tell them that when they take off their clothes, you really admire their bodies. It's very important. So I'm gonna close this for now. And on our next episode, I'm gonna tell you on how I had my son. We had 2 children, 2 girls, and we decided that we only ever wanted to have 2 children. So that's it. We're gonna stop there. So there's a 8-year gap between my second daughter and my son. Only because we didn't want children anymore. We just wanted the 2 kids. But then I've always wanted a boy. I've really, really always wanted a boy. So when the time came, that was now in 2007, and then 2006, I decided that no, I want a boy. I really, really want to have a boy. Oh my gosh, I'd been having a contraception. I was using the injection, the depot injection, since after my second child. So from 2001 up to 2006, I was constantly on the injection. And now I stopped the injection so that I could fall pregnant. And guys, I could not get pregnant. We tried everything. 2 years went and I couldn't fall pregnant. And that was really playing on my mind. As a woman, every month you want to get pregnant, you test your urine, and then you see that period coming, and then you do everything. You are having cold showers, you're eating bananas, you're eating everything to conceive that boy child. To have that Y chromosome getting in. So on the next video, I'm going to be talking about how I conceived my son. And I just want you to realize that my son was 3 years old when his father died. So my son only had 3 years with his father. His third birthday is on the 5th of March. So his third birthday, we celebrated it on Manuel's tummy, because Manuel was bedbound by then. So we wanted him to be involved in the celebration. So we did the birthday. The cake was on his tummy, and my son was just turning 3, and it was touching. This birthday was on the 5th of March, and my husband died on the 11th of March. I'm going to stop here because I said I'm not going to cry. So I'm going to stop here, and I'll see you on the next episode.